Alderman Billings,
Yes.
Alderman Morgan,
Yes.
and Alderman Maynard.
Yes.
All right, so the minutes are approved as read. So what we're gonna do is, we usually classify our old business and new business as old business pertaining to the minutes, and then we'll reflect on new business, pertaining to this month that's not in the old business, the minutes. Okay, so, the siren grant, most of everything has been approved for the siren grant. Benita has heard about the matching funds. Right now, what we had requested is that whenever they done the siren grant, the pole on the side is not accessible, so they're gonna move the pole to this side. But in order to do so, we had to rebid the specs because the specs didn't include new poles. So, that's also, we're requesting to obtain the Lotus system, which would, at this point in time, any emergency siren is activated by 911 in Savannah. If the storm is in Savannah, not Saltillo, our sirens are still activated. So what we're trying to do is accept a new system that isolates us from all the other county, the Crump, Savannah. So at 911, if they activate, if it's a storm in Saltillo, the weather service or 911 or the city of Saltillo can activate our sirens. And it only pertains to us. Okay, now it's going to benefit the county also because once the system's installed at 911, they can isolate Savannah as well as Crump or anywhere in Hardin County. So, but I feel that's a good thing. At least whenever the sirens are activated, Saltillo is an immediate threat for us. It's not that it's happening somewhere else, and that's the way the system works. Also, we ask that the charging system, which lightning usually strikes the sirens, it comes through the charging system, which they have 120 volt on there, and that's to keep the batteries charged up for the system. But what we have asked too is that they install the, not put the electric on there, but put the solar system on the pole, so the batteries will be charged by solar, and they say there's 80% less chance that it'll be hit by lightning. So it should prolong the longevity of the sirens themselves. Okay, so all of that is in the approval process. We should be able to bid those sirens again in November with the inclusion of the Lotus system and the solar system. Okay, if everything goes right, I think we're looking at somewhere about 90,000, 92,000, and our match would be, rather than 16,000, about 11,000. Okay, but there'll still be a match. It just depends on what the bid is. So we're looking forward to that, to get those sirens up and running with the sirens and the safe shelter and the community the way it is. I feel that all the people would, at that time down, we'd be safe for storms. Safe shelter, for those of you who don't know, holds about 265 people. That's standing shoulder to shoulder. Okay, but again, I'll say real quick, they did say that if the storm blow the school building away, that safe shelter should still be there. Now, I don't know if we'll ever witness it, but perhaps it will be. Okay, moving right along. On the complaint with Ronnie Neal, I think some of Ms. Woods had talked with Ronnie Neal about the complaint system, and I think it was imminent about Miss Bailey down there when we had that conversation. But then we did get a response that it's up. Once we receive the complaints, we hand it to the deputy fire marshal. Deputy fire marshal then evaluates the system and relates back to the board. Okay, so at that, so now, of course, the alderman, you don't have anything to do with the complaint system. When they come into City Hall, myself or the city recorder will make sure that the fire chief gets them, and then he can respond back to the board. If you have any questions, it'll be through him. Okay, so before, I actually wanted the board to participate in the complaint system, but since it was a conflict of interest to some, now we just go by the policy, and that's the procedure. So Kenny Young, which is Deputy Fire Marshal, he'll be acknowledging the complaints when they come in, and the board can discuss the complaint forms with him. But I will, at any meeting, if we have a complaint form, I will notify the board that a complaint has been entered and it has been passed on to the fire chief. but we won't have any comments toward that. Okay? All right, so is there any discussion toward these two items that we just discussed? If not, then we'll move right along. We know the boat dock's been repaired. I think it looks real good. The mural is exceptionally well. On the street repairs, the invoices have been sent out for 2 culverts that was agreed before we had the street work done. So that was passed on, and we're gonna come back to streets because of some of our monies, we need to regulate that. Okay. The fire truck, you know, we had the carburetor down on it. It's not active, but it's been repaired. Everything is operational for it. So as far as they're concerned on old business of the past minutes, that's completed. Does the board have any questions or discussion as far as the old business pertaining to September City? Okay, if not, banners for the downtown area, I think we had talked about it and gave Alderman Billings permission to go ahead, but I think the company, I don't know, Greg, the company you said you had talked to had some issues.
Well, the only issue that they had was they could not do a single banner 9 times. In other words, you couldn't do 9 different banners. They had to do it in pairs of 2 or 4 or 8.
Okay.
That was the issue. So
okay. Now I did previously, when we did the banners that's on the street right now, we had worked through Moscow. And I did call, you and I have talked, and I did call Moscow, and I thought they were exceptionally nice. She said that they had a 4-week period, but they did have a record of the banners that we had bought, and then they do have the flags. Y'all wanted to pick the old-timey flags, so those are the old flags, and they did, 2016 is when we put those banners up there. And I told her that if she would make a note that I had contacted her and put it in the computer in case it was another sales agent that we talked to, and that we would be back in contact with her. So I don't know how y'all want to proceed. We've got an account with these people already, but like I say, they're ready. They said within 4 weeks they could have what we ordered. Not the big banners now, but they could have the flags and the banners like we got up there. So I don't know how do y'all want to proceed with that. I mean, you already gave Alderman Billings permission to do so, but
I think we need to go ahead with it.
well, he wasn't having to say. I don't know if he wanted. Did you want to still deal with Moscow, Greg?
well, my experience in dealing with Moscow is quite different than yours. So if you've already talked to them and they can do what you have up there, I'm completely okay with that. But I had a very difficult time getting a response from them in phone calls and emails. The vice president eventually, I think it was the vice president, eventually emailed me, but like I said, I don't have any objection to using that company.
Mm-hmm.
Just my experience was quite different.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what?
Yeah.
You know, once of course the city's on there, and of course my name was on the head, and I don't know if how it was, but anyway, they was real. I mean, they was willing. Now those flags you guys are talking about, they ain't cheap either. Now those flags was like the 3x5 banner flags was like $52 a piece. You know, if you got the flag and the pole, it's like $106 a piece. So I mean, that's for the poles with the flags. And, the banners, they was cheap, just like you had suggested, even with them. But anyway, since it's already been voted and decided that we'll do it, Greg, if you get some time next week, if you'll give me a call, you and I can sit down and, if you don't mind, and I will call those people that, if you get off early one day doing working hours, we'll call them right quick. And
Yeah, I won't be available next week at all.
that's fine.
Yeah.
That's
But
fine.
the week after we can do that.
We'll make them familiar with who you are and what the circumstances are, and then in the future, of course, maybe it'll be a little more formidable for you talking with.
But you're gonna replace the pole and the flag. What about the bracket? Are you replacing any brackets?
Well,
You know,
I
that's,
think the bracket comes with it for $106. The flag, the pole, and the bracket. I think. I'm not sure, but
yeah.
it we'll need.
We'll
bracket.
talk about it. I just know that every part of, anyway, we'll talk about it, but I don't have any.
Well, they've got an aluminum pole and they've got a wooden pole,
Yeah.
so you know if
Right.
we need to decide which one we're gonna use, and if so, I say just you're gonna get it, get the
Yeah.
bracket, the pole, and the thing.
Right. Well, the previous quotes I turned in for the flags and the banner type flag that we talked about before, they are not cheap. I think it was nearly $5,000.
Well, see, they don't want the
But,
banner
yeah.
type flag, they want just the old time,
Right,
on the
right.
board, if I ain't mistaken, y'all just want the old timey flag like what we got now,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But I mean, they're not cheap either, like you said.
Right.
We can work out
Okay,
I think we need 14 of them, or 13.
I don't know,
14.
we'll look, see,
Something
but
like that.
we'll go
I'd
ahead
have to
and
go
look at
back
that
and
and maybe we can get them ordered or start the process
Yeah.
anyway. Okay, security cameras, I think we're gonna table that again as far as security cameras on the mural. The mural is actually sprayed with, clear on it, so if paint or something get on it, my understanding with Miss Carter is that you can wipe that off without affecting the painting of the mural, what she put on there, so that was a good thing. Okay, on River Day, they did finalize the plans, I felt that, River Day was, a lot of events was going on. Of course, a lot of people I talked to thought it was the third Saturday. Because for the last 10, 15 years, it was the third Saturday, and then we moved it to the fourth Saturday. And that caused a conflict with a lot of other things was going on. But overall, I thought it went well for the city. I think everybody that was here had a good time. I haven't heard any negative complaints, you know. But so as far as River Day is concerned, let me see. We have not received the $4,000 from the county yet, but it's coming. So we'll replace what money we spent out of the park fund from the, but $5,242 is what was collected, and we got another 175 in today. So River Day, I feel, was a success. So we'll go with that. And if you want to see some of the T-shirt sales, the figures, you can get with the city recorders. You can show them which they should be on your printout there anyway. Okay, somebody got their phone on.
That was me.
Back in there.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's back in there. Okay, on the barbecue festival, now we had an agreement with the barbecue festival cook-off. It was at the river, and it was a success. And those people were real tickled about being in Saltillo, and they want to come back next year. They said that the location was exceptionally well. They didn't have to get in mud or nothing. And we did put the electric poles down there, and actually we have 400 amps. Maybe in the future one day we'll have a little carnival or something. I remember Saltillo used to have a little carnival, you know.
Yep.
But we got enough power down there to have a carnival now. If it's so be, and that'll be a good location for it too, you know. So and then we like to thank Willie's. They let us use their water down there that was located on the old store premises. And we put a hydrant in down there in the ground, and the water was pumped to all the RVs and stuff, so that went off real well. We did pay the $75 deposit. We will pay this month's water bill, and then it'll be cut off, okay? All right, so do we have any questions with the board as far as what we went over thus far? Okay, if not, we'll continue on. Officer Franks, we've been discussing with him about hours to work. You know, we said if he wanted to work on weekend, it would be appropriate at night. But he's still working for the county. I don't know how this gonna work out. I'm leaving that up to Chief Graves. He's negotiating with Mr. Franks. In the wintertime, we do need an officer, but we don't need him as much as the summertime to conserve funds as well as make sure the town is safe. So, if Officer Franks don't work out, we've got some other officers that's willing to come and work for us at the price that we voted on in the past. We couldn't get one because we was just paying $10 an hour, now $14 an hour. If Officer Franks don't, he says November, I think that he'd be able to start working for us pretty continuously. So we'll just wait and see how that pan out as far as the month of November. Okay, anybody got any questions on that? All right, Tommy Baker across the street there did request about the ditch and thing, but cleaning out his ditch and the culvert. Now, I did go over there and look. Now, this is just my presumption. I invite the board to go look too, because I'm going to table this and you can vote on it the next time. It looks pretty good to me. I don't see any standing water over there when it rains, but you know, he's got pine trees all in front of his house, so it's a lot of pine needles that fall there, you know what I mean? But the thing about it is I think we just need to watch that if the water start building up, but right now it's running pretty good as far as I'm concerned. We can't do nothing about the pine needles, you know? I think the homeowner's got some responsibility for that as far as what's in the ditch, you know, which you, because of planting the trees, they're allowing them to exist there. Okay, now, the Shelton Tree Ranch, they're gonna have a bike run. I think we had that in the last meeting. They'll be coming through Saltillo on October the 8th. If you're not familiar with Shelton Tree Ranch, it is a fundraiser for handicapped seniors and kids. They've got a horse ranches that were out there by Bruton Branch, I think, that they use horses to help work with older people and stuff. So Miss Carolyn Wood had agreed that she wanted to take that on. So I did send her a text to see if she's still gonna do that. So we're just gonna leave that. She said she would, I feel she will. We just leave that with her. Okay, last but not least on old business is the signage. I think this is pertaining to the sign that was across from the red shed that stated a few derogatory complaints as far as City of Saltillo and what you encounter when you come in. Don't think it was a good idea, but we did talk with the DA and we did talk with the planner, and people do have a right to freedom of speech. But now, I did talk with the city attorney also, and when you implement a town, now it's a little bit of slander there, and it could, I mean, if the city wanted to push it, it could be a lawsuit because you're interpreting a town and not just your opinion. And it's kind of like putting a name on something, you know, or say that Miss Barbara is a nut, you know, and now you're slandering her, you know. But if you say somebody live at 48525 Highway 69 and nothing, now that's not slander. So, but anyway, but he did say that by putting on there the welcome to Saltillo, that was slanderous as far as the city's concerned. But the sign has been removed. So I thank the people for that. It saves a whole lot of trouble, because I had, I guess, 30 calls about the sign, but of course, everybody in town is not what the sign predicted. You know, I'm a veteran, a lot of veterans, and I do believe in one for all and all for one, you know, when you go to war. But it is freedom of speech, so we're going to just leave that at that, and we're going to move on with the October meeting of new business. Board, do you have anything that you want to comment or discuss on what we passed as far as old business? If not, we'll move forward with new business. First order of business is we did vote for Alderman Billings to be on the check signing at the bank. And in doing so, he did take the minutes there, but we also have to vote to take Danny Mooney off the minutes, off the check signing. So what I like is a motion tonight to remove Danny Mooney from signing checks for the city of Saltillo and to add Alderman Billings. So do we have a motion to remove Danny Mooney, which was a previous alderman, from the bank account at People's Bank?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Morgan. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Alderman Maynard. Discussion? Any discussion? Okay, okay, so Alderman Maynard?
Yes.
Alderman Morgan?
Yes.
I don't think it's a conflict for you to vote, Greg. It's just a simple,
Yeah, just to remove him, right?
yes, just to remove him. That's correct.
I agree.
Okay, and in some instances I can vote if it's, you know, so, but we got 3 as a quorum, so I don't have to vote. So now that is a motion to remove Danny Mooney from check cashing at People's Bank. Okay, now what the county did tell us on the thing, once we sent them the application, we did send a invoice to them as far as River Day 4,000, but the county mayor sent me a text, say, hey, we got the money for you, but send us an application and then we'll release the money. We did send the application. He texted me back thanking me that he did receive it. They're gonna mail us the check, so we'll deposit that into, the checking account. I'll let you speak at the end of the meeting.
I just wanna make it real quick.
I
with-
can't let you speak right
Oh,
now.
okay.
It'll have to be at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Okay, so that completes that. Okay, now, I think we had all voted on the pandemic funds. We've got, how much is left in that? 38,000, some few dollars. But I believe when we got the money, we had decided that we was gonna do some street and ditch repair. Is that not correct? I'm talking to the board.
Yes, I think that's what we had
Okay.
decided we were gonna do.
So what I'm requesting is that we do approve, when we did the street repair, it was roughly 40,000, 41,000. We only had about 30,000 in the street fund. I didn't want to deplete the street fund, so I took 20,000, I believe, from the street fund, and 21,000 from the general fund. What I'd like to do is, since we agreed that, is to vote tonight to take the money from the pandemic fund for the street repair, how much was it, Benita? Have you got a copy of that?
It's 38,218.92.
I know, but I'm talking, 38, but I'm talking about what we paid out of the general fund for street repair. Okay, but I'd like to see us put that back in the
I
general.
think it was a little less than 20,000, no, less than 21, but I don't remember exactly.
It ain't no way you can check it, just can you check that? I mean, I need I should have told you before, but what we need is an accurate number for you to decide. But, now that's gonna leave enough in there for, if we got to have the matching fund for the sirens that'll leave in there. Now that'll probably be in your June, is when we paid for the street repair. But she can pull it up on the computer pretty quick though, it should be on. Okay. And we're not in a deficit, so, you know, we can, if you wanna wait till the next meeting to transfer those funds, we can do that too. I mean, it's not relevant, we have to do it.
Yeah, I would prefer to table it until the next meeting so we have the actual figures in front of us.
Okay, hey, Vanita,
Sorry.
that's all right, I'll just table it to the next meeting, that'll give them to where they can understand, we'll have it at the next meeting. I'm sorry, I should've,
Was it in May,
June,
June? I think it was 16/8.
What-
16,800 came out of
How
general.
much?
16,800
okay, but
came
we're
out of
still,
general.
16,800, but we'll still table that until the next meeting, and we'll just do that, but I think we should put that back in there, and then we still got a good balance on our street fund, look like we got $7,492.36, but we don't have a whole lot of need for the street fund unless we have some repairs, and we've done it all with the exception of this covered. Okay, Mike Fields called me and he asked that I mentioned to everybody about the event,
Tennessee River Rendezvous.
right, is that what it is? Tennessee River Rendezvous. It's gonna be in April, I think, of next year, but he wanted me to remind everybody that we was gonna have it, and that I think they're gonna have 2 World War II planes gonna fly over, and several more events. Now, does the board have any questions about the rendezvous?
Are we gonna be able to use the trolley, because he asked me if I would be able to do the trolley, so.
Well, he
Would
said
it-
you had called him and you had questions about the event and moving the event and this
I
and that.
just
but-
asked him why, because I was going to, I asked
Yeah.
him why we had moved it from in town, and he said because of the amount of vendors, and so, I mean, that was what I was gonna ask you tonight, can the trolley be used for that?
Well,
That's
we
not my decision, that's,
well, I think yeah, sure, the trolley can be used for that. I mean, the trolley can be used for anything. A lot of times, I mean, what we mainly do is if you get a trolley or use a vehicle from another municipality, you have to take proof of your insurance and then a check for $1 renting for, usually they just charge us $1, but I mean, we could allow church to use it if they gave us their insurance and that, so, but we won't go into that right now because it's still in April, but he just wanted me to let everybody know, and he was a little concerned to make sure that all the aldermen were still on board with him putting it on, so, and I told him, I said, well, I'll mention it at the thing, and if any of them got any questions, they can bring it up, and then I'll put it on the list that when we do start meeting on the event, then those can be related as issues. So, okay, so, but he's still gonna have it. And like I say, he's adding a whole lot to it, so, but like I say, this is October, we're talking about April. Who knows, Putin might come get us for it, so we just need to wait a little time before ain't no sense in discussing that now. All right, so, moving right along, Moscow, we talked about that. Okay, I think both of you have policies on people driving motor vehicles for the city. We didn't have a policy for that. And let me see right here. So in talking with MTAS, we found out that we did need to add those policies for people that operate in vehicles that are employees or volunteers as far as the city is concerned. So you got copies of that now. Y'all hadn't read that, right? Okay,
Well,
so.
I've read it, and I got just a real quick question.
Okay.
And then we could do whatever, but at one point, several meetings ago, we discussed that any volunteer that drove a city-owned vehicle had to go through some other special training. Is that true? Because I didn't see that in this policy. Do they have to have some other kind of?
You're supposed to have a Nesca free, which is the fire department.
I was gonna say, I think Kenny replied that night that if you were not driving a emergency vehicle, that you did not have to have that.
I believe he did. I believe you're correct.
Because that had been a question that had been brought up before.
Right,
What was the title that you called it just in?
I'm gonna have to hold to the end of the meeting, Mr. Turner. The board, they kind of been on me about allowing the citizens to intervene during the city meeting. So if you got questions, I appreciate if y'all hold them to after, as far as the community is concerned, to after the city meeting. And then we can interject that and do, which I want to listen to what people have to say with the city. So what I'm gonna do is, we do have this, so take that with you, study it. We also have a nepotism policy that we have to look at. So I would like for y'all to take those two home with you, and then we'll vote on those at the beginning of the meeting in November. Okay? Now, if you got any questions, we're gonna be prepared to vote on this in November, so if you got any questions, feel free to holler at the city recorder. I don't think, I've read both of them, I don't see anything. They're actually state issue policies, we just kind of tweak them to the city of Saltillo, but it's necessary for future operation of the town, so you can take those with you and we can do that. Okay, let's see. I don't think I have nothing else here with the exception of fund balances. Just to go over pretty quick, general fund, $134,965. Fire, $2,275. Parks, $1,067. River Day, $7,492. Street aid, $19,162. ARPA funds, $38,218. Okay, and that's what we're looking at to replace the street money from the ARPA funds. We have requested the second round of the ARPA funds. So we haven't heard from them yet, but we requested, so I'm hoping we'll be getting that money within the next 30 to 45 days. What is that, 76,000? 79,000, that's the other part of the 79,000 we got. It's been requested. I guess all of you like me, tax documents been received and being mailed out. We hadn't got the county's money yet, and then but it's on the way, and then $5,242 for River Day. And one quick gesture is the library will be open. Do we have dates the library is gonna be open?
No, she hadn't told me yet.
Miss Beth Hensley, I don't know if any of you are familiar with Miss Beth Hensley, but she's volunteered to work at the library, and she's gonna do some tutoring at the library. And at this point, I don't think she's charging us nothing right now for working up there. I think perhaps maybe we can work out, she can tutor people at that, during that time to make money and not have to charge the city for being there, allowing the public to use the library, so. Okay, does anybody have any questions or comments, or discussion on library or the ARPA funds, tax documents, or River Day? None? Okay, so, now you guys need to take this is the sheet here, so you know, all of that's yours, you can take with you, and you can look over that, but we're in the green, the town looks real good, everything's working real well, so we don't have a deficit of that. We've come a long ways, and I hope we can continue. Okay, so now, does the board have any questions before we allow the community to input?
I guess I should have said this earlier, but I'm gonna, get a couple of prices on getting the, new handrails and steps, sealed before winter, and I'll have them ready at the next meeting to present.
Okay. Oh, you talking about at the river, is it ready with that new wood, it's ready to be sealed that quick? They say
Oh,
that.
no, maybe it's.
Well, they
it's
just
not.
always told me treated wood need to go through a drying process before you seal it.
Yeah,
If you seal them,
it's been
seal
like
it.
3 months, but I don't know
Yeah.
if that's good or not.
I don't neither, but you can go ahead and,
I'm no expert, but at that by any means.
okay. Are there any other discussion with the board? Did we miss anything? Okay. If not, at this time, okay, ma'am?
I was just gonna make a suggestion about the switching the bank representatives. I just wonder if it wouldn't be more simple to have the vote to remove Alderman Mooney and have the
Okay,
Alderman Billings put on the same minute. I work at the bank, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm just wondering if it wouldn't be more simple to have the votes on the same minutes instead of one being from 1 month and one being from another. Just a suggestion.
Okay, well, we've, I think we covered that to remove and to replace, but,
Yeah, the previous month, we voted to have myself put
Okay.
on it.
I
so-
just wondered if it'd be more simple if it was just on the same
I
minutes.
can reference
just a
it in the
suggestion.
minutes,
Yeah,
that
just
we,
a
Well,
suggestion.
yeah, that it was approved the previous month.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have the copy of the previous.
yeah, it's already been processed,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Just trying to make things simple.
okay. All right, Mr. Turner.
What did y'all call this so-called, when you was talking about the driver, you had to have some kind of something, I just wonder.
It's a Vanessa K. Free. What it is the fire department, but like she said, if you're not operating an emergency vehicle, as long as you got a valid driver license, you can drive. But Vanessa K. Free is
Never heard of it.
it's kind of like a military. It's just a card you get to say that you went through a specific type of training to drive a city vehicle, basically. And it's just a technicality as far as I'm concerned. If you got a valid driver license, but you're supposed to have a Vanessa K. Free card too. And all the firemen have it. I know I have one, but
I have one.
and it's taught here at the fire department. It takes about an hour to
Number,
go.
I got a second one. Where we at, I got a second one. Where we at on the street lights?
Okay, the street lights, we just about got that process done. I've been to Lexington Electric, and it was a pretty thorough process because the engineer had to come out and somebody had tore all the ribbons off the light post. Miss Carolyn put them back on there, so they've been out and looked at them, so we're in the process. I should say maybe the 1st of December, you should see them putting up the street lights.
You got 5 Forks out there included.
Got one at 5 Forks.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I think, yeah, one at 5 Forks, I think got 2 on Gumtree, I think got 1 over there at Saltillo Road and, Bingham Road, and then I forget where the others are, but yes, do have one at 5 Forks. Okay, So, are there any, does the, May, you have anything with senior citizens?
We rolling, okay.
We
We rolling, okay.
Okay. Does anybody else have any comments, discussion they want to present to the
I've
board?
missed a couple of meetings. What about the doctor's office?
Well, the doctor's office, I called that lady.
Somebody there, I mean, I don't,
Well, I'm gonna tell you what happened there is that she had actually filed for a grant and put the city down as the, mediator, or should I say, the person to expense the grant. They did not get the grant, so we haven't heard anything. I mean, right now, I don't think they're gonna do anything because we do have a couple of people though that are interested in the doctor's office, so, perhaps it'll pan out in the spring or something, but, what we'll have to do is just, these people are not gonna be it though, I don't think. There was just, I think they was trying to get grant money to actually operate, to
you
open the
that were
doctor's office.
excited about it.
Yeah, I thought that was a little weird there, but no, it didn't work out for them. Okay, so, is there any, board, you don't have anything, we're gonna have a motion to adjourn? Okay, community, giving you another chance for input, none. Vanita, do you have anything else? Did we miss anything?
I think you got all mine.
All right then, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Who did that?
Me?
Karen.
Alderman Maynard, motion to adjourn, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Billings, meeting adjourned.
That's all.